Got a short one today, probably just under 3 hours to scout. I'm gonna head into an area that Tiny spends his time in, as well as the majority of bucks that I seen during the rut. Their movement kept on going this way. I've been back here a couple of times. I hunted back here once this last season, and I seen a buck. I just didn't get him on camera because he was flying by. Plan is to just spend the rest of this day in there picking apart where they're going to once they get to this area that I'm heading to. So on my way in, standing right next to this bed. Look at this thing. Walk in right here. You can see where they lay right there. This big old cave. Pretty gnarly. I just kicked up a bunch of deer. I'm in the first bedding area right now. I mean, there's just they can bed anywhere in this shit. Somebody just got off of a boat right here. I think I got some company. Those deer just got up right over here and took off that way. I've known about this bedding area for some years now. I got some rubs here, some small ones. And every year I usually get in here once, but I usually get in here and get frustrated because I can't find a spot to get set up, so I really want to figure something out right now. Yeah, it's essentially looks like this everywhere. And I know from running cameras and just by talking to other buddies that hunt out here, everybody's at least seen one big old buck come walking out of here. It's nice and tall, but yet it's open in here for something big to get its rack around. I'm not seeing any signs of like their tines ticking on any branches or anything. There's no rubs in here. I feel like I'm close though. There's another pocket up here that I can see. Came up on a pretty beaten path right on the edge of where it gets real thick. There's like this gap where it kind of opens and then it pops right back into thick again. I've seen this beaten path. Followed it all the way down to this guy. That's only hit on one side. So they're only hitting this when they're going this way, and that's going to be 2 food. I'm going to follow this trail back to wherever this goes to and see if I can't pick up on more rubs. I think I see another one right there. This is probably only like 6 or 7 yards off of that trail. It's another good rub. It's about hip high. I'm still willing to bet that that last one and this one are just smaller bucks, little 2-year-old bucks. That first rub was more early season. It was kind of faded, getting to the point where it was faded. You can tell that this one's from, rut a little bit later into the season. This is hit on both sides, which would make sense because the stuff that I was walking through at first, like the first little bedding area, there was buck poop in there, but there wasn't as much as there was doe poop in there. Now this is still thick, they can feel safe in here and still make their way through checking all these bedding areas. Oh, I'm seeing rub after rub now. All right, so this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for where the bucks are telling me they're traveling through, kind of regardless of the bedding. You always want to know where the bedding is at, but what these bucks are doing is if that's the doe bedding where I just came from, they're running through this where they still have relatively good cover. It's not as thick as the bedding that the does are going to be in, but they still have relatively good cover to come running through here and come downwind of that bedding area and see if there's any hot does in that bedding area. Nice. Let's pick this apart. All right, so perfect. The trail that I just came off of and the trail that's about 5 yards of where that rub was that I just showed you all comes down to this point right here. And this is old. This hasn't been used in a while, but it's historic, so it lets you know that over the years bucks have been using this little travel route around that bedding area. I turn around, got more rubs here coming through. They're not big. This is a decent one right here. It opens up really good right in front of me, and then it opens up to the right, but there is this skinny little patch of saplings that runs right through the middle and then off to my left. So I'm going to check both of them to see if there's any rut, see if there's any rubs or anything, or just something that tells me that if they're going to turn here, they're going to turn this way or they're going to turn that way. At the same time, this wouldn't be a bad spot to try to find a tree to get into. There's not much to get into, but if I can find something that I can just pull together, or just something that can relatively hold my weight, I'll get into it. This is leading right off of that trail. There's an old historic rub right here. So they're cutting through this. I'm still gonna check the other one just to make sure that if there isn't any bigger rubs going that way, because this is still pretty low. This is still probably a little 2-year-old bucks. But we're on the right track. Now I'm getting to the point where I realize I don't need to worry about that section, because the last couple of times that I've hunted in here, I've just kind of like poked around in there trying to find a tree on the edge of that really thick cover when I need to be over here. So that's why we scout. I was just where that bigger tree, or whatever that is, I was just where that's at. Followed that trail in here. Now this is a little bit lower than the rest of this. This kind of like sinks down. You probably can't tell from the video. There's a real good rub in here. Earlier season for sure, but I'm willing to bet that they're bedding in this little small patch that's really low. All of the thermals that are going to be in this general area are going to pull right into this bowl that this rub's in. I'm willing to bet they're in here. A little nick on something right here. I'm gonna mill around in here and see what I can find. Oh, look at this. It's all beaten down. It's just this nice big old bed for something to come in here and lay down. Look, right on the way in, it's gonna hit this and it's just gonna lay down right here. Perfect bedding for it. I'm definitely gonna get this area marked. I've already had it marked for years as bedding, but I can kind of pinpoint the bedding that I want to focus on what's in here. Oh, look at this old historic one. Yeah. This is what we're looking for. This thing's real tore up. You know, and that's still on the ground. It's still alive. So that's been hit for years going this way. Yep, that's a lie. So that's coming out of here. This is coming out of this bedding area. Coming through here, hitting that. And walk out into that opening. Walk out here. So that's just where I came out of. When I went into there, it was actually just on the other side of that. So I went in there and did a big loop around this. Came back out. All of the buck bedding sign was in here. Kicked back out. I just scouted everything over here. So now I'm going to veer to the right here. And look what I see. Look at that thing. Let's go check it out. I guess the people on the boat didn't want to hang out. This thing is just over knee high. You can tell that's like just before pre-rut. Just before pre-rut. That's like pre-rut. Leading up to the rut. Another one here. Tore up pretty good. It's about the same size for the sign. It's all going this way to the food. Wrapping around this bedding area. I see another rub right there. A decent one. Definitely early season. Both sides. Oh, this is tore up. Here we go. Right on the edge, right where all this kind of pinches down. This is shoulder high right here. Even ripped up all the way back here, so they step into here and rub the heck out of that. Rubbing in here, rubbing in here. This is rubbed right here. That's rubbed. All of these rubs are from throughout the whole season. There's another pocket of saplings right here that I can already see rubs on too, so we're just going to keep on following this. So I've done kind of like a half of a U around this big bedding area, milling out through around it. Right on this transition. Opens up out here. See, there's a trail here. Looking it up this way. Just looks like one way. But all the sign is going to be in this thick stuff. There's a bunch of trees out there that I could set up in, but it's just going to keep me too far away from where I'm going to be able to get a shot, because the big ones aren't going to walk out there. The big ones are going to walk in this thick stuff. It's going to be more early season. This is all tore up. Going both ways. Got this beaten down path that leads to the main trail that I was following along the transition. This actually cuts right through the bedding. There's a nice rub right here. You can see that trail just hits another rub and another rub, so they're comfortable coming through here, and it's just beat. It's a good amount of cover. I can get into this tree and be able to shoot this whole open area over here, whole open area over here. I know from experience, I've seen bucks come through here. They'll cut through all of that marsh swamp area, come over to this thicket and get right in here on the other side of these big old trees. This is the trail that leads into that thicket where that tree was that I said I'd set up in. This trail comes right out to this thing, and this thing is snapped off above my belly button. I'm at the tail end of this scout now. So I am finally back to the area where I seen and filmed a couple of the bigger bucks crossing this waterway as they were leaving where I was hunting. And I'm just back here. I'm trying to find something, and it's just like no man's land around here. And I finally came up on a rub, but it's from early season or it's from the season before. That's the only thing I can go off of right now. This guy right here is a little shredded up. It's about hip high. The crossing's going to be up here. So that rub is back there. Right there. And came stepping down, seen this beaten trail, followed it. Some good rubs here. This is early season again. Good here. Those rubs I just showed you are right here. Right along this line on that little fall down. There's a scrape right here. Licking branch right here. And that's coming off of the trail that leads to all those rubs. Keep following that, see where it goes. Alright, came from down that way. Followed the trail. Came up to this big old tree. There's a scrape there. There's an old scrape there. Licking branch. Check it out. Licking branch right here. See where they snap that off. And we're getting real close to that crossing. I'm sure this is exactly where this trail goes to. Right on top of the crossing now, and there is a very good scrape right here. And this licking branch is that tall. So you know some mature ones are hitting this for sure. I'm gonna get this marked. I'll probably end up running a camera here this season anyway. And then I gotta figure out if I can find somewhere I can tuck into and be able to shoot this. So that big old scrape, that licking branch is right there. Walked over here about 10, 12 yards. Another beaten path. I can add to this process. Makes me think I need to run a couple of cameras just in this general area to be able to catch both trails. Alright, let's find a tree, huh? If I can see where the shore gradually goes down in the river, I'd be able to get my kayak right up here, keep my scent along the edge, and then tuck back into here somewhere, into one of these trees, and be able to shoot that farther trail and the closer trail. Right now I am on the tip of this peninsula that leads right to where those scrapes were. It's right here, right where it's all thick right here. It's all rubbed up right here, like something's been laying here. Almost looks like something's been laying here. Just behind this wall of cover. Not much cover right now, and by the rub over here, you can tell it's early season. Mark that down. Get in here, set up on it. See what we got. It looks like a younger buck, but it's buck bedding nonetheless.